r/AskReddit by Reddify. My lawyer and I laid a trap for my adulterous wateric wife in my divorce. When I got divorced, my wateric wife of 18 years had started another affair. This time with her addictions counselor, my lawyer, and I laid a trap for them. Just in case you don't know, intimate relations between a counselor and patient are very frowned upon by the regulatory bodies, and I was more than pissed. After putting her through rehab, $25k, which I didn't have to do, only to have her fall back into her old behavior. Shortly before the divorce was finalized, I filed a complaint with the state body licensing health professions. Knowing they were in some peril because of their unprofessional relationship, I had already gotten him fired from a major teaching hospital. She had backed off her exorbitant demands. I paid her a very modest settlement, kept the house, got custody of the 3 teenage kids, plus got child support. Her lawyer naturally included a clause in the divorce where I had to agree to not say anything negative about her lover and their relationship. But the lawyer ducked up and never asked if I had already filed charges, and thus didn't require me to rescind them. Her lawyer had assumed I was just bad-mouthing them to neighbors and friends, and it never occurred to the lawyer that we were doing much more. When the Board of Health Professions responded to my complaint shortly after the divorce was finalized, I told them that it would take a subpoena to get me to testify. A subpoena terms an agreement in a divorce settlement. They were happy to oblige. They stripped his license and placed him on a register of sanctioned health professionals. He never worked again. They were broke in a handful of years and she divorced him when the money ran out. In the interim, his mother had died, leaving a fair-sized estate, so it took longer than I expected. Oh. And the frosting on the cake was that his wife and I traded notes, notably hotel receipts from the time of their affair, that helped each of us in our respective divorces. Justice was served, and the op lived happily ever after. Do you hook up with the counselor's wife? If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. TBH, it mainly sounds like you helped your ex ruin another man's life. Edit FFS, I get it already. If your mother duckers could stop spamming the same goddamn counter argument, that would be great. Edit salt piling up, PLS bring fries. What was the trap? Her lawyer naturally included a clause in the divorce where I had to agree to not say anything negative about her lover and their relationship. Naturally, that's a common thing. A clause in a divorce that says you can't badmouth the ex's new lover to the kids. Notably hotel receipts from the time of their affair. Who keeps hotel receipts when they are having an affair? Applause of sweet justice. This is actually a pretty horrible story. While the addictions counselor screwed up, at the end of the day he was dating someone who was already split from her husband. Hardly a crime that warranted destruction of his entire career. I dunno. Maybe I'm just a different sort of asshole where ruining some dude's life for ducking my ex just isn't even on my radar. Just divorce the wife and move the hell on. Why was that necessary? In what way has it made your life better? Are your kids impressed with your life ruining prowess? I'm all for sticking to assholes who deserve it, but this is kinda horrible. Head justice boner achieved. Cool, but you clearly aren't quite right in the head either. If this is too personal, don't feel the need to answer. You married someone you ended up hating, at least in part. How did the love of your marriage turn into such animosity? Were the two of you incompatible in lifestyle or personality? Was there a lack of open communication in your marriage? Did the issues come purely from your wife, or do you see places where you could have righted the ship? One again. If you don't want to, don't answer. I only ask for insight into my own past relationships, and for the hope of better handling future ones. I understand your frustration, but what the heck? And I was more than pissed. After putting her through rehab, $25k, which I didn't have to do, only to have her fall back into her old behavior. An addiction isn't fixed just by throwing money at it. This reads like some insult fiction. Kinda seems like you are a rike. I'm not surprised she drank. My neighbor is going through something similar, but she's banging the daughter's baseball coach and wants $100k a year for child support and alimony. Unfortunately, I think she'll get almost everything she wants, and she wants everything. Since the day she got married she's refused to work a day in her life, even though he pays for her to keep her realtor's license. She even tried to get a cease and desist order on my and my wife from talking to him. Then she tried to get a restraining order on him for her following him onto my property and screaming at him. She claimed she fears for her life. Judge laughed at that one when I went to court with him as a witness to the incident. It's turning into a very messy divorce. To be fair to everyone involved, it sounds like you're a seriously bad person. Teenage kids. Do your kids know the whole story, cause they're more than likely gonna see this hit on the front page of r/all. You make me cringe. What an asshole. What was her counselor even thinking? Oh yeah. And Waterick caught up in a messy divorce. I want a piece of that. No ducking, wonder she drank. You sound like an asshole. Please don't blame an addict for failing rehab. It is not their fault, though I appreciate you have deeper wounds than just their relapse. I feel pity for the kids. I hope you always taking good care of them. Why does every post on here read like an episode of r/Thafferpan/? This whole story is sad for everyone involved, tbh. I'm kinda shocked the licensing boards actually did anything. In my state I've seen them do nothing but protect terrible physicians. I suspect it's because I'm in the South. Licensing boards here don't exist to ensure ethical conduct. They're there to use the authority of the state to protect the revenue stream, making sure outsiders can't muscle in on the turf of established practitioners and tradesmen. Darn that inconsiderate mother dying and making your plan take longer. You're mental. Man, that's really cool. Your kids must be really excited about that. Lovely divorce, go get 'em, buddy. So now there's a guy out there who's been homeless and starving for years and is plotting how to kill you, even if it's the last thing he does. Good job, Sherlock. Op is probably a malignant narcissist. Destroying the counselor's career is far worse than what the counselor did. Yet Op thinks this is justice. It wasn't justice because it was extremely disproportionate. It also wasn't compensatory. Op prides himself on his cruelty and believes that his anger justifies his actions. He also seems to be unable to accurately identify the causes of his anger. He chooses to destroy the career of the counselor mostly because of things his wife did. Unfortunately, many Americans share his pathological desire to punish. I find it disturbing that this thread received so many upvotes. To be fair, this is just plain sad. Nobody claps at the end. Doesn't seem legit. Once in your life, you loved this woman. You even spent $25k for her rehab. And how are your kids after all this ridiculous drama? Glad you kept the kids. I don't believe this for a second. How dare you destroy another man's career for breaking the doctor-patient code of ethics. Just keep paying him to bang your wife during the divorce, so I can jack off to my cuckold fantasies. It sounds like you spent countless hours focusing on this, and in the end I can only imagine that this revenge just made you feel worse. And imagine you were trying to hurt them as much as they hurt you. Hurt people, it's an endless cycle and everyone loses. Sometimes it's better to forgive and walk away. Don't let them take up that space in your head. Resentment is a hook and you need to forgive and let go of this for your own happiness. I've got the Unreal Tournament announcer in my head now going MMM monster kill. Nice job. Karma served up. Hope you get to live happily ever after. How is he the asshole when the therapist was letting him write checks for essentially boning his wife during their divorce while she was her addict? 25k rehab, and you can't keep your hands off my soon-to-be ex-woman. He deserved every part of this. How do the kids feel about all of this? Since they're teenagers, I assume they figured out a lot of this. Do they still see/want to see the mom, or they kinda understand she might be toxic for them? You went scorched earth. I approve. Give her enough rope, and I bet she'll hang herself for us, said my lawyer. Probably yours too. I'm just impressed that you were able to get custody. Her condition must have been pretty bad/obvious, because it's pretty rare for the father to get custody, especially all 3 kids. Go you. We want more details. Such stories come once in a while. When the Board of Health Professions responded to my complaint shortly after the divorce was finalized, I told them that it would take a subpoena to get me to testify. A subpoena to our Turks, an agreement and a divorce settlement. They were happy to oblige. It's probably not often the stars align in such a way, but I bet you were outright giddy to receive that subpoena. I'm also glad you said frosting on the cake instead of icing on the cake, as I usually hear. Frosting is better. Kudos for trusting science to help her addiction though. Those psychological scientists shouldn't sleep with their patients. But you still gave her the best chance she could get to turn it around. So good for you. Shame she threw it all in your face after cheating for so long, instead of just being honest upfront with you like an adult.